We're with Michael Doyle, a national correspondent for McClatchy Newspaper's Washington Bureau. Mike, you talked about the military courts being a court that is often uncovered. Why do you suppose it's uncovered, and what kind of stories can you find there?
It's a fabulous court system, partly because so few people know about it. I think it's uncovered for a couple of reasons. One is that the language is opaque. It uses terms, Article 32, convening authority, UCI, that are unfamiliar to conventional court reporters. Second, it's fairly closed mouth. It's not part of the PACER document system. It's harder to get information. At the trial level, the cases are handled on military bases that are secure. The kind of stories run the gamut: murder, sexual assault, command influence. It's everything and anything that you find in the civilian court system, with the bonus that nobody has gotten there before you.
Okay. Now, you have also covered the Supreme Court over your career. And is it harder to set yourself apart when you're a Supreme Court reporter compared with finding stories on these other beats, other courts?
Absolutely. The Supreme Court is one of the most overcovered institutions in the United States, comparable to the White House on days of big decisions. So if there's a big case coming down on same-sex marriage or immigration, there may be 120 reporters in the Supreme Court press office itself. And there's just no way you can differentiate yourself, with a couple of exceptions. You can find the local angle. So if you in the Kentucky couple challenging the same-sex marriage ban, that enabled the Kentucky papers to write something that's unique. So, but as a general rule, the Supreme Court has so much coverage, it's hard to stand out, as opposed to these specialized courts, military and other, that are generally ignored by reporters, so you have less competition and you have more room to roam.
Okay. There's also something called the Court of Federal Claims. What's that, and what kind of stories come from there?
That's a fabulous court. It's located near the White House. It handles cases involving contractual disputes between companies or individuals in the United States and takings of land and property. So if Donald Trump is aggrieved that the federal government's taking some of his land for a parkway, he can bring that claim to the Court of Federal Claims and seek damages. It also handles vaccination claims from parents whose children have been damaged following a government-ordered vaccination. So it is unknown to most reporters. The stories can be highly technical, but given the right local hook, a local company, say, or local landowner, it can yield wonderful stories.
Okay, and tell me your favorite court.
I think my favorite court is the U.S. Navy Marine Corps Court of Criminal Appeals, because it's a productive court, it's active, it produces a lot of litigation passes through it. The cases tend to be pretty lively. The individual defendants or petitioners have interesting backstories. I wrote a story about a Marine explosive technician who ended up murdering a prostitute, and just the fact pattern, given his esteemed military record, was something you don't find in the civilian courts, and nobody knows about it, nobody covers it. So there are unique stories with great fact patterns that allow you tremendous freedom to write a story no one else has.
Okay, and finally, if you're a new reporter on the beat, or you're the editor of a new reporter, you talked about doing daily court checks. What do you mean by that? I mean, on a day-to-day basis, what are you doing?
Just get in the habit of, in the same way as a regional reporter might get in the habit of calling a local congressional office, hey, what's going on? Any hearings? Anybody in town? Make part of the same habit checking the court docket, seeing if there's any court filings, any decisions, anything happening at the court level, so that it's just part of your routine. Because my view of a reporter in Washington is many view that job as confined to Congress. That's only the start. What it really needs to do is expand to cover the court system, and the way to do that is to every day look to see if a decision that has come down that affects your readers.
Okay. Michael, thank you very much.
My pleasure.